Ouais, poste sur Discord aussi. Hello everyone, nice to see you all. Well, I know we are not many at this right now, but maybe in a couple of minutes. InToX is advertising to the rest of the communities that we are having a very short AMA for today, which topic is and should be about organized play. But before we deep dive into the announcements we've made at Gamma and eventually all the questions you might have, we also have a little announcement about the release date of the game, which is going to be published on our social network very soon. There is an article on the website if you want to read it, and which is that we have decided to postpone the release date of the game just by a few weeks. So it's no big emergency on our side. The issue was just that if we wanted to fully synchronize every single country in the world, and as you know already, we've been very successful in getting orders from all over the globe. So just to ensure the synchronizations of the delivery of the retail products, which is different from the Kickstarter products, but we have already ordered products for many different continents. We had to postpone it. Otherwise, some continents would have had the products sooner and the others later, and that's not what we wanted. So it was mainly a logistical issue, and the only way to solve it and to be sure without any doubt that the retail launch would happen simultaneously was to postpone for 2 weeks. We hope it's not too much of a burden for you and you understand our motives and why we did it. And so the new date is the 13th of September 2024, a couple of weeks after the end of summer, instead of the 26th of August as previously planned. This date was the date we had planned for a year and a half now. It was the date we started communicating about, but now we are in the reality of logistic, now that every order is sent, and that's the real new and definitive date. So maybe before we go further, I'd like to know if you have some questions about this topic or some remarks. I know InToX is reading your comments, so do you have anyone interested in asking something about this one? Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's just I went to the barber like 3 days ago, so it's fresh. Okay, anyway, if you have questions about it, I can come back to this topic later. Eventually, if people come late, you can give me the questions later. In the meantime, we have another topic, which is the organized play. By the way, if you want to ask questions about something else, and eventually InToX might select them, so it's okay. But today we want to give a focus on organized play, and we were at Gamma. We were at Gamma in the US a couple of days ago. Gamma is the biggest B2B business-to-business convention in the United States. Business-to-business means there are only professionals from the board game industry and TCG industry that go to this kind of conventions. A lot of business meetings. You go and you discover new games eventually, and you talk about the future of your IPs and so on. And we went there because after the Kickstarter, we were invited by Asmodee North America to come and meet with our customers. So many Asmodee LGSs, so local game stores, went to us. We had 1 hour time to have a keynote, or a small keynote, where we could present the organized play to many people in the attendance. And we know that some of those people already took pictures that you've seen all over the web. So this is the right time now if you have questions about it. I'm going to explain it again like I did at Gamma, and feel free to ask anything. So the first slide, you can go with the first slide. First slide we've shown is a roadmap that some of you have already seen in prior events. It hasn't been much updated. I will be very short on it. Basically, the organized play program in stores will start at the release of the game, the retail release, so should be 13th of September. We are planning a little surprise that won't be unveiled here. We are trying to have an extra event in this roadmap, but for the moment you have this. It means for the first edition of Altered Beyond the Gate, you will be able to play organized play into your local game shop and only into your local game shop. Exceptions are some conventions here and there as well, like SN for example. And first expansion comes in January, and with first expansion will come the first official competitive tournament, main competitive tournament, one in the US and one in Europe, because this is a very difficult topic to start competition. We need to understand how to budget this kind of thing, how to organize it. We need to scale as a company as well. We need to hire people. We need to sign up partnerships with professionals in the area and so on. We wanted to start with little ambitions for the first year, which means one event US, one event Europe, second expansion, one event US, one event Europe, and then some kind of world championship. Very hard today to tell you what will be within those small and first conventions. We have many ideas, many ambitions, but we need to understand how it works, how much it costs, and how we have to staff ourselves, etc. So we want to learn slowly. But anyway, next slide, please, Pierre. Here are the three different types of things which are officially revealed for now. The first one is the weeklies, so what we call the expeditions. This is the occasions you will have to go and play into your local shops. They are dedicated for you to play in a more casual ambience. It's not really very much competitive. It will be up to your store to organize any type of formats that your community might wish for. So if they want to do draft, you will have draft. If they want to do standard play, you will have standard play. Multiplayer, you will have multiplayer. And as a reward for you and battling with each others, we will reward you with at least one promotional booster for every people in a sort of top 8, decided by the shop owner as well. In fact, might be 9 boosters. So because we have ordered a bit more. What we want to do with this 9th booster is to give the opportunity to the store owners to give away this booster without thinking at any type of top 8. So it's free for him or her to decide who they want to reward. Might be a new customer, a beginner, rookie, or just someone they like, they want to reward. And those events really, they are made for you to discover the game with a little interest into getting something. And it will also unveil the Adventure Pass, which is one of the next topic. Coming back to the confluences, so that's a temporary name, by the way, they might really change. We are fighting with each other internally to steal the best names for whatever purpose we have in mind, and we have many ideas. So I picked up Confluence for now, and Confluence are the main events, the main really competitive event we have announced, first in February, March for US and Europe. And the size of them is really unknown for now. Location of them are unknown, same. We are starting the discussions with partners, in particular on both continents. Our idea is to make them really more like social events than really fully competitive events. But that doesn't mean they are not going to be competitive. They are going to be competitive, but our intent is for you to build souvenirs when you go to this type of event. You know, we don't want them to be just empty room with chairs, a few tables, and that's it. We want to bring you more. We are dreaming of good food, of good drinks, of meetings with artists, with game designers, with us. Eventually one day cosplay, a place to trade, to meet, to play side events, etc. Or to play multiplayer. We want to offer you as many cool ideas as we can. So we will think about it. They will also be the place where part of the system we are building will start speaking about factions-oriented play, in the way that when you're going to play in a store, we don't want to enforce you to play for one faction or another, because one week you would like to play Bravos, maybe the week after you want to play Izmir, etc., etc. We don't want you to force you to play one faction. So we didn't design the organized play system to do so for the in-stores organized play, but instead, in the competitive environment, we will slowly build something that will tell stories about factions, which means probably that at some point in this type of events, someone who would end up first of his faction, let's say a Muna player who would end up 17th in the ranking, but would still be the best Muna player of the event, might be rewarded just for picking up Muna and being the best Muna player of the event. Also, we are thinking faction leader and so on, but all those ideas might not come all at once in the beginning. This is what we want to go forward and what we want to offer to you. And for the awards in 2024, same stuff. Musubi is a placeholder, probably in Paris because it's easy for us. We are from Paris and it will be simple. Number of people in attendance, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that probably people will be qualified from the Confluence events before. Thank you, Pierre. Next slide. So the promotional boosters. The kind of stuff you usually find elsewhere, so no big news here. Many other games have them. Very convenient because you always produce the same stuff and the surprises are within. So we know for you it's a cool product as well, but it depends on what you put inside. And this is a product, by the way, for retailers that will be free of charge. This presentation was made for retailers. So yes, that's a product we offer to you all, community and retailers. And every week you should have them available in your favorite stores. Pierre, next slide. Thank you. So for the first season, the promotional booster is going to be made of those cards. You're going to be able to find rare cards, unique cards, rare foilers, unique foilers, some art tokens. So I don't have them here. They are being produced at the moment. You will find 4 of them with different arts from the regular versions, and the 6 promotional cards from the first set, which represents the 6 heroes that haven't yet been given away as promotional cards, because we had a first set of promotional cards for 2023, a second set of promotional cards, 6 more heroes from January 1st, 2024, and which is going to last until Gen Con starts. Gen Con will be the first event where you will be able to get the new promotional cards from set 3 and also promotional boosters. Thank you. By the way, what you've seen in the promotional booster on the slide before will be very different in the set 2 in many ways. So more info later about that. But we were a bit in a hurry when we had to do the first promotional booster. The second is much more wisely thought. About the Adventure Pass. So this is something I have to say we are very, very proud of being able to do. Because it was obvious we had to do something alike. The idea is we have a game that is both physical and digital, and the good thing with this kind of stuff is that we can bring in new ideas. Our main goal here, what we were thinking about is how, because this is our DNA, how do we incentive people to go and play physically into stores, to meet with people, to create community in real life. And to do so, we need to find some stuff that's going to attract you to those stores. Okay, promotional boosters are one thing, but there are only 8 or 9 promotional boosters per event, and you might attend events where there are more than 8 or 9 players, and so you might not be rewarded for one, and eventually you might be frustrated that you don't achieve the goal of getting one. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to find a way that would mean that any of you that would go to any type of event, casual event where you have promotional boosters, would also be entitled to something. And the way we designed it is, at the beginning of a season, at least this is the model we have chosen for those first seasons, you will choose a faction. As I said before, this choice of faction will not force you to play this faction. We know it would have more flavor, but we didn't want to do it because at the same time, it's not the same feeling. And if you would start playing for all different factions at the same time, it would have less meaning. So what we decided instead is that you would show your support. You are able to show your support for one faction by choosing it, even if you play something else. So at least it's in the spirit of, this is my favorite faction, even if today I want to play something else, but I love them. So let's say you pick a faction Axiom. You pick Axiom for season 1. You go to your first event, you've picked Axiom, then you register and you play your first game. As soon as you've played your first game, you will be locked in Axiom, because until you play it, you're like, I haven't yet played, so it's not locked. So once you're locked to the faction, you're locked for the season, for one season. You can change for the next season. What it does is it will give you access to one ladder for your faction. It's not really a ladder where you're not going to compete against each other. It's just 15 different steps. And anytime you will attend one event playing Altered during this season, so usually 4 months, and play at least one game, you will gain 1 point into this ladder, and you will get the rewards according to your ranking. Those rewards will be given away only at the end of the season, not instantly. So the more you grind, the more points you get, and if you reach the 15th level, you will get all of the previous rewards given to you at the end of the season. In those rewards, what can you get? You can get, the first thing you get is your badge, is your faction badge, so they are not the final version here. And a faction badge is something you will have as a souvenir. This is something you will store in your online account. And this is something that you will be able to showcase on your profile if you want to. So you will see at some point that your profiles are a place to showcase your history with the game, like many different things are going to be shown here in many different ways. Could be the fact that you have a full collection, the fact that you've played 5,000 games of Altered, but also the fact that you've participated in some events, won some events, and here that you've been there for participating to this season. So the way it works, you get the bronze badge in your collection as a souvenir. If you want, you showcase it in your profile. By the way, in the future, when you will meet people in tournaments, the tournament application will match you with people, and you will see their souvenirs on their profiles, like their badges and so on. They will see yours. So we feel like it's a way to personalize your profile, and also when you will share your profile on social, you will be entitled to do it with your souvenirs. So rank 1, you get your bronze badge. Rank 2 to 4, you get one common foiler, so it's a very basic reward, not the rarest of all, but that's the first step. And then when you reach level 5, you get access to an alt art. This is an alt art that is totally dedicated to this system, to the adventure pass, so they are different alt arts from the one you will find into the promotional boosters. They will never be the same. This is the only way to get them, is to get through the adventure pass, and an alt art in this adventure pass at the moment will always be a spell or a permanent. So a card that doesn't have a unique version, because it was a bit too complicated to add unique cards to this system. So instead we stuck with the spells and permanents because they have no unique, which means you will have on the full ladder, if you get the 15 francs, you will earn the normal version, the common version of the alt art, and the 2 rare version, the out of faction 1 and the one belonging to the faction. Then you have more badges, silver badges, gold badges, and platinum badges, and you have the rest of the alt arts. We are going to unveil all those alt arts closer to the season, so you're going to know what you grind for before you choose your faction. And once you've chosen a faction, this is the only faction you can grind from the season. So if you're looking for the other cards from the other factions to get, well, eventually you will need to trade with your friends or on the marketplace to collect them. Thank you, Pierre. Do you have questions?
Plenty questions.
Plenty questions. First question. Roadmap about exhaustive rule and judge applications for OP. About the first part of the question, the exhaustive rules, I know this is something that the game design team is working on, but I don't have the specifics of when it will be fully ready. We've had for a while here someone named Florian, who is a former, or still by the way, level 3 or level 4, I don't know if level 4 still exists, very high level ranked Magic judge in Europe, and who is a friend of many people here. He's also a PhD searcher, and he's for the French mathematical universities, and he has been working with us for a while on that. It's not my area of expertise, but yes, there is going to be an exhaustive rule book. Also, I don't know because I'm not an expert, but from my experience with the game at the moment, we've had pretty little needs for like a Bible of rules, but still, that's a good thing to have one. So yes, it's coming at some point. The second part of the question was about the judge program. And it comes with the last thing I said, which is that this is a question we have, is how do we want that to work? Magic the Gathering, just because Magic is Magic, it's easy to take them as an example, has a very deep level of rulings, which requires a gigantic expertise to handle any case. With Altered, the way this type of game is designed, there is no stack, there is no instant interaction, and so the game is way easier to judge, just in terms of rules. But at the same time, you need judges for people cheating, or just for some cases of stalling, time limit, or whatever. You always need judges. So we need to think at how it's going to be done. We don't think we need such an army as eventually Magic had. We can probably do something simpler, but we will plan something for it so that we give away opportunities to every store to have someone who is expected to be knowledgeable about Altered, eventually about the formats, about the small rules, timings, run timers, handling the tool, for example, and finding a way to give a reward to those kind of people. But no specifics yet. And I mean, we are working on it, but it's not the first thing on the table because we are not starting full speed with the game. We know, and we want the game to remain very casual in the beginning, very friendly, and we are going to see our community grow at the same time, and people willing to embody Altered as experts of the game are already coming to us. So we will experiment and come up with some ideas in the future. Will OP go on to explore the Asia region and having distributors there? So distributors in Asia, that's already the case. I can't tell you the names because I don't know many of them, but we have orders from Asia already for the Kickstarter. Asmodee has many salespeople in Asia, in various countries, and we've had demands from most countries in Asia already. So when it comes to organized play, I mean, we still need to discuss it. Confluences, so the big events, the conventions, probably not, at least not on year one, maybe not on year two, I don't know, but not for a start because we are focusing our efforts and budgets on Europe and North America. Promotional boosters, not for the set one, not for Beyond the Gate, not for the core set, not planned, because we need to understand our budget means a little more, which means that it's easier to understand what your budgets are once you have sold, let's say, one core set and one expansion. At least you know where you're at, you know what your community is, you know your growth rate, so you can really plan your budget way more. But until then, it's hard. So we want to stick to the plan, which is Europe and US. But eventually, what I can say here is we will discuss the option for the Asian player to have access to the Adventure Pass, because the Adventure Pass doesn't require any production. Basically, it's not very expensive for us to offer it to more countries. So why not? I mean, let's see. You will know about it. Is the plan for the Confluence tournaments to have a main event with specific format and signed events? Yes, that's basically the idea. Even more, depending on how many days it lasts. My wish And I'll tell you a story here. When I joined the company, I came from video games. So I'm a former Magic competitive player, but not from the most recent years. I had a gap, I just stopped for a while. And when I came back to the game, I had my experience from competitive esports, many different esports. And so I compared my souvenirs as a competitive gamer in Magic with what's been done and what's being done in esports and so on. And I was like, okay, I believe what we should do with those type of game is it's not just go and have a main event where you have money and you consider everybody is coming for finishing first, hyper competitive, and that's it. I remembered that when I used to be competitive, sometimes I had bad days. And those bad days, I could travel 500 kilometers. Okay, with friends, it was cool. But then I went into a tournament. I just lose my first 3 games. Then I have no chance anymore to qualify for the end of the tournament. So I'm just out of the tournament. And then I have pretty much nothing to do besides waiting my friends. Okay, from time to time you had a side event. But me, I just wanted to play a main event. Because the side event was like, meh, I can do that at home. Why would I do it here? I didn't come for this. And the events themselves weren't much offering anything else. Okay, I could just eventually visit the city around. Sometimes it was in Barcelona or in Madrid. It was cool to hang around. But the place itself, the event itself, wasn't really offering more. So, having that in mind, we have done our studies, we've checked who's doing what, and we have noticed that for some of the games, and even for Magic now with the MagicCon, that more and more brands are understanding that if you want to do an event really good for your customers, your community, you have to make more from those events than just being a regular tournament. So yes, those events will be main events, and eventually we also want to have you the chance to play more than one main event. Let's say maybe we do 2 days event, and day 1 you lose very quickly, then you're not into day 2 of the first main event, but then day 2 there is another main event for you if you're really into competition. So you don't come for nothing, you don't have to wait 2 days to go home and nothing serious to play. That's one thing, and at the same time we want to offer you more because we believe, really this is what I said before, we believe there is a lot of room for improvement. It costs eventually a lot of money and we have to think about it, but I'm the kind of guy who want to have really good food, simple food, but really good food in quantities, easy to find drinks for a cheap price. We don't want to oversell those type of things on events where you have queues for 40 minutes to get one sandwich, which costs you another price number. That's not the spirit out of it. We want those events to be really affordable for you to enjoy. Eventually the entry price will be high depending on our total budget, but our philosophy is not to make those conventions profitable. Our philosophy is to try to cover the cost and to give you as much as we can for a convenient price for as many people as possible. And we want this experience to be souvenirs. So our motto, and I will finish my answer here, is we want those events to build souvenirs for everyone. And we believe everyone has different needs, and that's what we will be working on. Will there be a variety of formats for the main events? Yes. I mean, this is something we want to do according to the community needs. I mean, if we feel like you want to play teams, maybe we are going to have team main events. If you want to play solo, maybe solo main events, maybe both. I mean, everything's possible. We are very open to them. We are eager to understand who plays what, who loves what are the trends in one continent, one another, or in one country, and to see where it goes and just to adapt. I mean, we are not stuck in one format or another. Yeah. Confluence and Worlds will really attend this year, 2024. No, sorry, my slide. Yeah, I made the mistake. My slide is wrong. It's 2025. It's not. No, of course not 2024. No. I was too fast with this one.
Yeah.
How long eventually, I suppose, how long a single season lasts? 4 months. Every set is 4 months until the next set releases. So a season will be 4 months and 3 seasons a year. And this one was fast. All right. Can you change your Adventure Pass faction a week after week? There is still room for changes about it. Let's say that everything I've told you is like 90%, 95% of the intention. The small details, like someone yesterday asked to me, once I have finished my first pass, can I grind the second pass, you know? And I was like, instinctively we said no, but we might offer some time to discuss the question as a group, because it hasn't yet been discussed as a group, and we love to have this type of discussion with many expert people within the company, with many different profiles. Also, if you want to share your feelings on social, do not hesitate. Usually Pierre is good at telling us the spirit of the community about some topics. So can you change live or faction? That, I would say, that's not the intent. The intent is more for you to just show who you want to go after, you know, show who your heart goes to. I mean, even competitively, I'm a competitive player, but I already know which faction is in my heart, top one, and maybe I'm going to play it a little too much compared to what I should play competitively. And this is what we want to show. I mean, where are your hearts going? And if you are able to multi-faction and so on, this loses meaning. In fact, it loses flavor. This is not what we want, so maybe not. But still, it's not because we say one thing for season 1 that it's not going to evolve in season 2 and 3. Anything can evolve in the end, until we find the right formula that you all love. Will we have the chance to attend new events before summer in Europe? I'll suppose it is 2024 for this one. So I don't know where you are, but yes, the current roadmap for the coming events are one by one. We are going to UK Game Expo, so it's in England. It's late May, early June. Before that, we have an event in Paris named Gala TCG. So Parisian people or people from France, if you want to see us and come and play, it's in Paris, and I think it's the early May, 1 to 4 or something like this, or 2 to 5. We are discussing the opportunity of going to the Flip. So once again, it's for France. Yes, sorry guys, we know, but we are French. It's way easier for the small events. And Flip is a board game festival which lasts like 10 days in July. It's in a small town in the western part of France, and this is an amazing festival that happens in the city. So it's not like a big convention center. We are discussing the details to be there. And then there is Gen Con. So Gen Con 2024, we will be there for sure. So that's US. And we have another event in Europe, which is coming somewhere later. And I cannot officially reveal it, so I'll just not say anything for today, even if I want to. And then we are going to the classic schedule of, the next big one is Essen in Germany. So it's in October. And eventually, once again for France, but this is a business-to-business event in Vichy. I think it's in September, yes. Is there any chance to get game in Russia? So that's not a question I can really answer by myself, because it's all about distribution. Distribution is done by Asmodee. So I suppose for Europe, the big seller in Europe in general is Blackfire, which is part of Asmodee. So I suppose that if a Russian company wants to buy Altered from Blackfire, It's probably possible. I don't see why the war in Ukraine would forbid that to happen. I don't think Asmodee has strong policy about Russia, but I might be mistaken, and I won't elaborate in their stead. So that's all I know for now. But I mean, hopefully anyone over the globe can play Altered. I mean, games are not about real life geopolitics and so on, and that's what we love with games. So I hope so. How would one qualify for the world event? A good question. Very probably during one of the confluence. That's the main idea. I mean, very basically, we were like, okay, we have 4 events. Maybe we pick up the first 2 players of each event or the first 4 players of each event, and we have 8 to 16 players to invite in Paris. This is the first idea. Once again, it's, for example, the world final. My dream is to make it like the Magic Con, like really the biggest convention of all convention for Alger. Like the main place where you want to go once a year because you have so much to enjoy here that you want to be here. Eventually, we want to have last slot qualifier events at the world events, you know, the day prior to the final and so on, to give some adrenaline to your players, or events to qualify to what's coming the next year. I mean, to make them something really cool with all the associated things you might expect. But this is for the first year. As I said, budgets are very difficult to foresee. We have to go slow, we have to learn, we have to grow. So for the moment, it's a very simple idea for the world events. Only people invited and eventually no public audience. Maybe we are going to do something quite fancy, but in a board game bar in Paris, you know, just a nice small event with maybe some audience from France, but nothing bigger. The adventure pass and the rewards, I love it, and the rewards will be linked to a chosen faction. Yes, you have 6 factions to choose from to show who you're bidding for, and each faction will have its own rewards. So the foilers are the same, just the badges. Each faction will have its own badges reward, and each faction will have its own alt art card belonging to their faction. So that's how it is. So you have 3 alt arts per faction, 1 common to rare cards multiplied by 6 factions, so it's 18 cards to collect. And very probably for most of us, since we have only 1 account and we are not going to create 6 accounts and try to do 90 events in 4 months, we should not possess all of the cards. Unless we trade, of course, and that's the purpose. Have LGS from Switzerland contacted you? Yes, so maybe not directly, from memory, I don't know, but yes, some LGS from Switzerland have ordered the Kickstarter product, and I know we have some forecast for Switzerland from Asmodee's side, but I don't have the specifics, the names and so on, sorry. There will be a format with less or more unique in the deck. I like to think that we came up with some basic format, and unless a new trend is storming Altered, and we all understand that this is a better format than the current format, we are going to stick to the best formats, in fact. So the parallel is the Commander format in Magic, which, by the way, was already played like 10 years ago in France. By the way, I think it's originated from France, I'm not sure. But still, for many years, it's been a subpar format, not taken in account by Wizard. Now it's a big format for them. We will pay attention to what you want to play, and if people like are urgently asking to play with only unique cards, maybe we are going, to try some things, but small things first, medium size, and if success is there, why not bigger? Anyways, that's the community that does chooses the formats, not us. We just paves the way for beginning, and then you just show us what you want. If you don't like a format, you're not going to play it. So it's gonna be very simple for us to see. Wasn't the original plan was to host a big tournament on the release date? No, I mean, not on the release date. Eventually, we had plans for Gen Con to host a main tournament, but it was a very early idea. Today, what Gen Con is going to be, we will have at minimum organized play booth. So we'll have two booths, one exhibition hall and one organized play hall. The one organized play, currently we have 64 seats, and we have already planned what we want to do with those seats. And there are going to be many different type of formats available. So you will be able to draft at Gen Con per table of 8 players. And you will be able to play with starter decks as well. And we want you to experience various formats with various rewards. But we didn't want to put all our eggs in the same basket and have only one main event which would attract all the attention. Also because Gen Con is for us to celebrate the delivery of the Kickstarter. So many of you will have received the Kickstarter hopefully in July as promised. And many of you might be new players not having backed the KS and will eventually play the game for the first time at Gen Con. So we want Gen Con to offer you various levels of play from total beginner to expert and various formats. We'll also have 2v2 I think and so on, but I can't tell you all, I don't have all the specifics in my head. I know we have communicated the planning to Gen Con because Gen Con is going to unveil the booking system for those events very soon, and our events are within the system already. What are the expected rewards for the conferences, World Tournaments winner and participants? Very good question. We haven't decided. Of course, money is on the table, simple as that. In particular, if we decide the world event to have people qualified from the conference, what it means to us is at least we want to invite those people. So it means money. It can be in the sense that we give them money away so they can book their flights and their hotels, or we do that for them. We have to choose. Eventually, a bit more money. Could be money at the World Championship as well. One thing we don't want to do is we don't want to be our events all about money. I mean, we have many more ideas to bring to the tables to build up souvenirs. I will just randomly throw them on the table, and I don't even have a list, but could be giant cards, special cards, special sleeves, for example, signed deck boxes, or you could put your name on something, or you can be the champion of your faction. You could have metal plates, metal posters, on-demand art made by someone. We have lots of ideas. So the next one is, would you consider real-life merch tied to the battle pass, like special pins and such? No, not the battle pass, because the battle pass, its essence is to be digital. The battle pass is our easiest way to offer you something, and the battle pass is going to remain this way and probably only this way, which does not mean that we are not going to give some other physical rewards in other ways. One thing I didn't say earlier, we are thinking at a special format for the stores, which along the weekly events, the expeditions, would be like once or twice a season, just an occasion for you to play competitively this time within your store, and that would be this type of special event where we could reward people with some more. Same thing, we are trying to understand how we can make some type of launch event, eventually for the first expansion, but at least there is for the second. This is not easy because Altered has many more complications in the system that makes this type of events more difficult to organize. For example, we are discussing the eventuality of producing a specific faction boosters that you would mix up with some regular boosters to make those events kind of fun for deck building purposes. But not simple, because we have 6 factions. In one booster you get like 1 point health card from your faction. So even if you have 3 boosters, it makes 4.5 cards. Well, that's not the best way to build something mono-faction. So maybe we need to allow you to play multi-faction, and then we share the rules with the draft. So a lot of brainstorm, which is ongoing. And then once we decide about something, we have logistical issues. We need to have planned everything to produce in advance. So we have ideas. We know where we are going. We don't know how fast we are going there. That's it. So more to be revealed, but we have ideas. Don't worry. Well, I think will there be pre-releases? I feel like I answered this one. Pre-releases, maybe not. We maybe launch event, which is a bit different. The difference is for logistical purposes and also because of the offering we do for those events. But we are thinking about something for September. So hopefully it will happen. Can you get more than 1 level each week for the adventure pass? Yes, of course. I mean, if you live in a big city and you have nothing to do from your week and you can chain 15 events in a week, you can complete the battle pass in 1 week. Still, you will have to wait the end of the season to get your rewards. So good job, and eventually you're just stuck with the fun, but nothing more to do. But that's up to you. But yes, I mean, that's possible. Basically, the system for the moment is built in a way that as long as you play an official event, you gain 1 point. Could be a confluence, could be an event organized by your shop, which wouldn't be a weekly event, but just an extra event for the week or something. That shouldn't prevent you from getting a point. We don't want to make this system hard for you to reach the 15th level. This is not our intent. We just want for you to enjoy the fact that you get 1 more point and that it gives you the wish or the energy to go and move from your home to your local game store with your friends to meet people and play there. Our intent is really that. And we don't want to over abuse the system by getting you 90 levels to push you to play more and more and more and more and more. No, 15, I mean, if you attend 15 events in a season in a shop, any shop owner would be happy, and you will already have played a lot of Altered. We would be very happy. We hope you would be happy for participating in 15 events, and you will get your final rewards. So that's already an achievement. Rotation ban lists. I wish I could tell you. It's all game design, so maybe next time you vote game design for the AMA, so you will get some game designers here. I can tell you, we all know we have to make decisions about that. Decisions are not mine and they are not yet made. Once again, it's a topic where we know what we are doing for the first year very clearly. Second year is starting to build up, but this kind of choices is very impactful on the future of a game, and committing too early to a game that finally has no real life feedbacks yet, not been played massively all over the globe and so on, means we don't have all of your feedbacks, of your real feedbacks about what should be done and what you want. So we also want to feed ourselves with your opinion so that we know better what we should do. And even if we are going to have to decide before we put the game into your hands, that's something that the more you debate, the more you discuss about the game, we read you. I mean, we might not have the time to answer to all of you 24/7. Finally, only Pierre, you can say cuckoo, is our community manager. He's the one and only. and the rest of us are just barely available when we can in between the work we already do and our social life. So it's not easy to read all of you, but many times you've had pretty strong ideas that pushed us to think about some aspects of the game way more than we had. So maybe tomorrow, in 6 days' time, I'm going to read one of your comments with someone who is genuinely trying to think about how it could work, and we will find some brilliant ideas within what you say and just think about, hey, maybe that's something we should explore. And that's how we've built many of the things we've done until now. So keep doing, think with us, think aside of us. How do you think we should do a rotation once a year, every 4 sets, 5 sets? How should it work? I've had many experience from Magic doing that, so some of you might have as well. Tell us, we are curious. The third AA card would be the same card in another faction or a different card, but in faction. No, it's an out of faction card. So that's the same card in another faction. Once you choose one faction for your adventure pass, the AA card, the alternate art card you will get will be from the same family of cards. So if it's a family green mouse, then you will have only green mouse cards. Do you guys plan on offering products in the LGS beside booster boxes and packs? So us directly, we have no plans to do so at the moment. GameGenic has, but we are not GameGenic, but GameGenic is our accessory partner, so you will find a lot of GameGenic accessories. And in a further future, eventually, I mean, why not? For example, we are very attracted to do merchandising. We want to do cloth, hoodies, or plushies, whatever you might think of. But we want to ensure that we know what you guys want, what you guys like about our IP. So if the game is successful, we are pretty sure we are going to see the community deciding by itself what it likes, and we are going to see it on social media and so on, and we are going to understand what you guys might be willing for us to do. So that's something for the future. Same stuff with the lore, for example. We could do art books, we could do an RPG. Our lore designer is just eagerly waiting to do the RPG for Altered, and we're like, hey, slow down, one thing at a time. You know, you have to write for us first before you deep dive into an RPG, but he already has thought about everything, so maybe one day an RPG, yes. Comics, I don't know. Will there also be a prize for the top players of each faction? That's something I think I've answered before. When it came to conventions, to officially competitive tournaments, which expeditions are not, they are casual tournaments. Yes, that's something we want to do. We want to reward top faction players, and it's just there are many possibilities for doing it, but we want to do that for sure. This is something we love. This is a very strong idea, and this is something that Altered can do, so we will do it, yes. When? I don't know, but it will come. They are asking so many things, I cannot hear your answer. Lucky Knox. I think I know what you mean. It's soon 7 p.m. We have like 3 minutes to take more questions. Do you have more questions? Oh, still. How many are we today?
120.
120. Okay, cool day. Think about releasing heroes, companions, figuring with Gigamic. So you have 2 questions in one. Heroes, companions with Gigamic. I think you say GameGenic, because Gigamic does exist. I think it's a brand in France. But no, GameGenic, we are already. From the Kickstarter, you've seen some of them. Are there new heroes coming from GameGenic? That would mean that, it depends. Let's say you might think, okay, if you mean acrylic tokens, like the one GameGenic has already done, they have already done all acrylic tokens for all heroes in Altered currently. So does it mean we are going to release new heroes very soon? No. This is not planned very soon. Might happen at some time, but not very soon. So no new acrylic tokens for the heroes coming from GameGenic. If you mean real figurines, like molded figurines, like for a tabletop board game and so on, for Altered, is GameGenic going to do that? I don't know. I mean, that's a question for GameGenic. What I can tell you is at the moment, there is no plan for that, but why not at some point? I'm also very curious to see how you personalize your Altered experience. And one way of doing it is just by eventually choosing your own figurines from what you like most, souvenirs, games you love, and so on, and to use them in Altered. Because in fact, figurines or tokens can be anything, and I always like to see whatever comes from your imaginations. Last one, will there be exclusive cards locked behind promo? Will there be?
Not by cards. Different cards.
Can you send me the question again? Will there be exclusive cards? Oh, you mean beyond promos? No?
Not all cards, exclusive cards.
Will there be more exclusive cards? Or other type of exclusive cards than alt arts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If that's the question, okay. Alt arts, for example, the promotional cards we have already distributed, the 12 that are already on the market and the 6 that are coming, are not the same as alt art from playable cards like you found, like you've seen for the Kickstarter, like you will get from the promotional boosters and from the Adventure Pass. Because those promotional cards, they were made for the heroes, so we made them frameless, textless, and they are... will there be promos that are not alt art, like families only there for promos? Okay, you mean eventually cards that wouldn't be playable cards?
Playable, but you can only get them in promos, not in boosters.
By adventure, oh, you mean so creating families from scratch? Okay, not like the alt art I offer right now. Okay, full families offered purely from a promotional standpoint. Might be. I mean, I know we have some discussions with the lore. The lore guy is willing to work around some ideas like this. I can share that with you. It's just first draft of ideas, but why not? Why not? Might be fun. Might be a bad idea. I don't know. We need to study it more, but that's doable. I can tell you we are discussing it because we have some ideas for next year about that possibility. That's the least I can say. One last. No, the end. Well, thank you everyone. We hope you answered as many questions as possible. If you have more questions, as usual, don't hesitate, go to the Discord, chat with the community, chat with us, let us know. Anyways, there will be more live sessions on YouTube like this one, eventually with other people than me, or with me again, because I'm usually the guy making the announcements for most of the announcements. And well, it's a very nice weather in Paris right now. So for once, and it's the first time for a very long time, because we didn't even celebrate the KS this way, we are going to hang out and have a drink on the pelouse of the Louvre. See you soon. Bye-bye.